we're gonna get into this next set here, as Toboshi mentioned. We got one more to go. This one, a silver match, I believe. We got Hunu and somebody else, Turnipboy, I believe.
Turnipboy. Oh, how could you forget Turnipboy and his quest to go
How
perfect
could
in
I forget
silver?
Turnipboy?
So this is an interesting matchup. Turnipboy is perfect so far in silver, 6-0, and that's with an unplayed match against Checker. So pretty much 7-0.
Okay, so it's so one loss. We just
Yeah, come on. Yeah,
yeah,
clearly that's what's going to
obviously.
happen. We'll put that down. We'll put that down as a sweep. And Hunu, not quite as good, but has no losses. 3-0-3, so undefeated. Turnip Boy, by the way, has a chance still to become the first person ever to go 12-0 in this new expanded format, which we've gone to before. We've had 10-0s. We've had 11-0-1 even, Ascend Beyond and Obsidian last season. But this, again, would be 12-0 if Turnip pulls it off, which has never happened. Only been
Mhm.
possible for a couple seasons. Schedules have gotten longer. And it's also as high as silver. This isn't obsidian or copper or iron. This is silver, and a good silver at that. So Turnip Boy has a genuine chance here to have a perfect season in a very good silver, but it's fair to say Hunu is one of their toughest remaining matches.
Yeah, if Turnip Boy can pull this off, all bets are off, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. No, this
Anyhow,
this would be through a big part of the gauntlet in silver. Absolutely. Now they do have to face at the end of the season Kuma Kid and David W.
Oh
But I would
God.
say with Kuma Kid, David W, and Hunu, those are the three really tough matchups that Turnip Boy has not gotten through yet, after already getting through the likes of, say, Loris or Beanie.
And for
all
those of
right.
you in the chat
Anyway,
who
I am
don't
all ready
know,
to go.
those of you in the chat who don't know, Checker is the man who made this game, and we love to make fun of him.
Yep.
Yes, we don't actually make fun of basically anyone except ourselves when we're on cast, which we're allowed to do, and Checker. That's always fair game too. So this is actually very non-toxic community, except for that. We need a little bit of an outlet, and we've decided to direct all our ire to the competitive misfortunes of the developer.
Sorry,
Yep.
Checker.
Sorry, Checker. We love you,
One
buddy.
day, I predict he will be very good at this game, and that day is when, well, not the day, but once development is mostly done.
Yeah.
Once we reach 1.0 and Checker can actually play his own game, I think he has a potential to be good
Yeah,
with some
I don't know
practice.
when it'll happen, but I'm not going to measure that time period in days. Let's just say that. We're looking at months minimum and for maybe years. Maybe someday. I hope so.
Yep, not soon. TM
No,
even
not
maybe
even.
that's in the eventually TM. I
It
think.
is definitely eventually.
All right. Anyhow, I do have a draft here. Unfortunately, we're not going to see any aquarium cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And no veranda cheese. Veranda. I feel like veranda is like the old school cheese venue.
It
Unless you're
is.
capable.
It was,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
So Turnip Boy has
yeah.
banned Veranda every match but one. It's just don't
Okay.
mess around with it. It's just the standard ban from Turnip,
Yep.
and has
And
picked
like
Aquarium a lot. So this makes sense from Hunu.
yeah. Well, it looks like Hunu didn't quite get the memo that you're supposed to restrict aquarium and ban redwoods. They switched it around, but that's okay. Looks like Turnip Boy doesn't want redwoods anyway.
Yeah, well, I
Turnip
mean,
Boy.
in this case, as I mentioned, Turnip Boy's picked Aquarium a bunch, so he's basically thinking, you know what? I know he's going to pick this if I leave it open. He may or may not pick Redwoods. I'll take my chances.
But anyhow, no redwoods has shown up, and Turnip Boy doesn't care too much about restricting. Apparently, at least not this time. We're gonna see some more library. So
Okay.
4 more games of that, and then gallery, which I'm excited to see. Another one of my favorite venues. No, there sort of is occlusion on this venue. It is provided solely by the back conversation for the most part.
Wow.
And then courtyard. There we go. There's the true occlusion venue, and then ballroom, which is, I guess some people also call that an occlusion venue because there are a lot of columns in the way.
Library is a gutsy pick against Turnip Boy, who is 19-4 as sniper on Library and has not lost this season in 5 games. That's really picking into your opponent's strength. That is a dare if I saw one. I
Well,
can't
I
wait to
mean,
see how it turns out.
looking at Turnip Boy's record, a lot of venues are apparently his strength this season. So
That's a good point. When you're chasing perfection, there aren't that many weak spots. But I would say, given that Turnip Boy also picks Library, has picked Library a couple times this season, it's a counterintuitive move. But Hoon is probably saying, you know what? I know I'm the underdog. I know this is going to be tough. This is what I want to play. Just got to play it well.
yep, we'll see if they can do that. I mean, they made it onto this cast, so that that tells you it's not going to be a blowout, probably.
Probably not. We do cast those occasionally just to keep you guys on their toes, but most of the time that's not what happens.
I don't know. I've actually have no idea. I have not seen this match.
Ooh.
And
Me
it
neither.
is going to be Hunu starting things out on the spy side, Turnipboy on the sniper. Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, it would really be something for Hunu to get any points here at all. And again, if you're Turnipboy, you're doing great. Things are looking good in silver, but you're probably already starting to feel the pressure at the halfway point here as possibly the only person to go 12-0 in any division.
Hunu immediately pulls out a blue book and into the windows for the first flirt. It's a bit of a distant one, but it is still 27%, which is not terrible.
No, it's not bad at all, especially when it wasn't really planned like that. Question is, and this is always the question, where's that book going? The longer we hold on to it, the less likely it is to go back to its home.
Oh man, the pathing here is it's going from great to terrible and back again very quickly.
Yeah, but the line between great and terrible is so thin too, for that matter.
That is
Especially,
true.
all it matters is what the sniper thinks of it, and sometimes they think, oh, that looked so bad, it must not be a spy.
Second flirt comes off. That brings it up to 59%. So we are going to need a green test on the flirt in order to finish that up. What was that little twitch, though?
I think we're just trying to get closer.
I think we're trying to get behind the pillar.
For microfilm?
I don't
No,
know. I think we're just hiding.
Okay. Huh.
I am a confuse. It's fine. This is fine. All the way back into an innocent conversation. I think he thought the double agent here was there, but he wasn't, and then the double agent joined anyways. So it is going to be the contact coming off.
And you're right, we're going to need that green. And, well, speaking of greens, one of my favorite little stats about this match here is that Hunu and Turnipboy are 0.4% away from each other's green rate. Basically identical.
Back in with the seduction target once more. Can we hit a green test? No, we cannot. It's 93% after the third flirt.
And that could come back to bite us. We still have this blue book, by the way, so...
Yep, it's still there.
I'll be pretty surprised if it ends up in blue.
This has to be a bug, right? Yep,
Yes.
there it is. As Orange Sorry walks by, the bug comes off.
And from the sniper side, that worked perfectly. It was right when Turnipboy whipped over to the left, and now we're briefcasing into the center of the conversation. I like this, actually.
Yeah, that was a move. So that is going to be a one print on the table. Minute and 35 left to play. Eyeing up the seduction target, ready to get that done, but he gets surrounded by the AI before we have a chance.
Going back.
And we're putting this back?
Wow.
After all that, the book is going back where it came from?
I mean, maybe the plan didn't include bug, and then when they felt they'd gotten away with the bug, they thought, well, this is going to be a little different now. Maybe
There's
they figure...
no plan, though. We have a minute and 10. We still need another flirt. We still need another print, and we still need another mission after all of that's done. This is a little bit bold. I don't know if I like this. There's the flirt coming off.
Yep. And Turnipboy is really zoomed in on these late statue visitors, very worried about the swap from Seek and Red Dress in particular. There are a lot of suspects still in this game, and Turnipboy's paying a lot of attention to them. I think we could go pretty aggro here, and if we time it right, we're just going to get away with it because his attention is so split on the sniper side.
Niebla hasn't been putting his hands on things, and Hunu is not close enough to the ambassador to force him out of conversation. I don't think we're going to get the fingerprints done.
That path is rough. That path is rough.
It's into center statues we go. There's the swap. Here comes the inspects. Trying to get a look around. There, sees it. The shot immediately comes off. and Turnipboy gets things started right.
There was so much in that game to like and so much to hate that I can't even believe that all happened in the same game. It was a very, very exciting game with some very good moves, some very good timing, and then some questionable decisions too. Some good pathing, some bad pathing. That's SpyParty, man. All those things can exist in the same game sometimes. I think though that the first half of that game was played pretty darn well.
Yeah, I think so. Just didn't quite work out for Hunu as he steps into the sniper side of things. Turnipboy on the spy, sorry. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Again, you're not really expecting to win a bunch of spy games against Turnipboy, certainly not on Library. What you're really doing is hoping to lock down both of Turnip's spy games, maybe sneak one out yourself, and if you come away with a split, it's not the end of the world. So not a big problem to lose that first game, but you know, you only get so many chances against a sniper like Turnipboy.
Turnipboy tried so hard to make sure he stayed with the seduction target, and he winds up being rewarded with 51% on the first flirt. What was that path from Andrew Ryan?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that cutting in front of people a little bit can look AI-like, especially in some of these later builds. Well, case in point, AI just did it.
Yeah, that is exactly why. And it looks like Turnipboy is going to do that thing where you get the green flirt and then wait for the timer. No, actually decides to step away from it.
Yeah, surprising that we waited a good 15 or 20 seconds, but spacing things out, fair enough. Turnipboy, like so many spies kind of in the way that would be effective against their own sniper. Likes to kind of ramp up the game a little bit when they can. Be cool early. Don't draw unnecessary attention to yourself in the early game if you don't have to. Although we'll see whether or not this fingerprint does anything for Hunu.
Absolutely. Over to the blue bookcase we go to pick up a print. Not doing anything with the book itself, but the print is enough. Stepping, I think, back towards the seduction target. Yes, indeed.
And it's the standard, I'm going to stand next to them again, but this time on the other side.
Yeah.
Because
You
I don't care
never
which side.
know.
Yeah, this is my good side anyway. Don't worry. This is I want my seduction target to see me exclusively from the left anyway.
Well, it wasn't apparently, because this one was only 34%, which brings us up to 85 total.
Sorry, I meant his left, our right. Yeah, that's the good side. That's the good side. There's something in the beard on the other side, I think, is the problem.
So it would seem. A little bit of crossing paths with the ambassador there puts us in conversation with the double agent. The contact comes off. Low lights, low lights, low lights. That's 3, I think, from the contact and 1 from something else.
Yeah, the real problem is that a good number of people might not have had a reel either, and we are in the biggest conversation. But for Library, that's awfully good. And we get highlight, I think, for being the first person to leave a full conversation after a banana bread.
Yeah, it's
what a highlight from Hunu if that's what that is.
Either way, it's big because that is not an easy highlight to pick up. There's the flirt getting finished up as well, so that's nice to see. There, I believe there is a difficult print at yellow. Now it's back to a full print.
Queen takes it.
And now it's back to a smudged print.
Right back where we started, that's fair. Do you have a good side, by the way? Left or right, do you think?
I don't know.
I mean as a caster, of course.
Oh, spy side.
Got it.
There's the green purloin coming off, by the way, while that was going on. Ambassador takes it.
That's
the
rough.
ambassador takes the list. It was very easy to not really know what to do with it after that. Oh my god, Turnipboy takes it right after.
It's a print, and it's who would take the drink after the purloin simultaneously. We're at 4 missions, and it doesn't matter. Hunu just says,
enough.
You're the only suspect in the vicinity. Come on. Wow.
That was bold as hell.
Yeah, I mean, you're really just counting on getting away with that. You're hoping you get even 1 reject, potentially. Although, in this case, if he rejects, you have no way to finish fingerprint. So, yeah, it's just good from Hunu. I think, really, though, maybe the game is just won on that sneaky little highlight that I think it's just there's a full conversation here. More likely, this is the real DA conversation. Who leaves first? Disproportionately, not always, you can't bank on this at all, but disproportionately, the spy leaves after the banana bread next because the spy was just in there to do the banana bread. So now they have other things to do. It's a neat little thing to watch for, and in this case, I think it might have swung the game for Hunu.
It may just have. It's 1-1 as Hunu steps back onto the spy side of things in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Hunu can't bug in the chaos there, holding a drink, but can flirt.
And that flirt does indeed come off for 33%. Now, that's not as good as a white test can get, but it is more than good enough to pick up a 3 flirt just on white tests. Not
Yeah,
able to win the briefcase race, so it's back in the conversation with the selection target once more. It's not going to be a full cooldown. In fact, it's already expired. So there's the second flirt coming off. This one green and up to 80%.
And we're really close. We basically had to run over Teal's foot there in order to make it happen, but she's too polite to say anything.
And now it looks like, as soon as I say it, Hunu steps away, but it's interesting to see people hanging out in conversation for a little while after the flirt comes off, just to try to lose suspicion. It's a print at the yellow bookcase. We'll see what happens with the book itself.
You're right, though. Normally, if people are going to timer flirt, they, just timer flirt. But if they're not going to, it's weird. Not necessarily bad, but unusual to hang out for 15 or 20 seconds and then leave anyway.
And back into conversation we go with the seduction target. There's the flirt getting finished up. Was a green test, although I don't think we needed it.
Ooh, we are sort of hidden by the pillar here in a full conversation. It seemed like a prime purloin opportunity, but Hunu has other plans, possibly because they already have that print and already have that seduce done. We don't need to resort to purloins just yet, maybe.
Especially not with the ambassador putting his prints on the green bookcase. Hunu's not jumping on it immediately, though. Stepping over towards the double agent, who was alone in conversation, so her bailing from that might be useful, actually.
Yeah, I don't know how good that was going to be. Although that BB where you're with the real double agent and you're the only person in that conversation, it's so counterintuitive, it can work very, very well.
Hunu seems a little bit lost right now. The prints are all gone, although luckily the ambassador is being kind and making more.
Yeah, it's not really clear what they want to do, what they're looking for. I can't tell if they're looking for bug opportunities or what. We had a purloin opportunity. This might be a decent one if we can get offered back here.
Well, it's a double agent right now, though it's not going to be a great contact if he takes it.
But I think you have to, based on the time alone.
Yeah, Hunu agrees. There it goes. 1 low light, 2 low light, 3 low lights.
Heads up, Queen split too from her conversation with an SDA. Turnip will absolutely catch that sort of thing.
Into the yellow bookcase we go. This is going to be the last print we need, but we only have 1:15 left on the clock. I think we're going to have to try to slam this book into a different bookcase. Hunu disagrees. With just over a minute to play, where are these 2 missions going to come from?
There are 2 missions you could do at the end of every library game.
That
you
is
could do
true.
them right now. But it really looks like Hunu wants to think about this and possibly bug. But I feel like if that happens, Turnipboy's going to shoot just for the timing of the inspects.
Yeah,
really
I think
feels
you're
that
right.
way.
I think he wants the bug. Hasn't been able to get it so far. Into conversation once more. Time ticking down under 40 seconds. I think it's just going to have to be an inspect swap. The ambassador comes back, though. So it might be an inspect bug instead. No, it's going to be the purloin. There's the green test on that. Here's Hunu coming across. It's going to be a swap as well, hoping to use the purloin for cover. The swap comes off. The purloin comes off. The swap is what gets seen, though.
Oh. And the crazy thing is that reject was not on screen. It was just straight up not on screen. Maybe it would be inferred anyway, but not visible, not obvious. I wonder if an inspect would have just done it there.
Turnipboy in chat saying he saw both, so I'm going to go with no.
Well, from the camera side, I don't think it on there. Now, saying I think they rejected is different than seeing it, but let me see. Sees the pullback at the very end, perhaps. Yeah, it's hard to tell from the width of the screen, but either way, sometimes you don't need to see it anyway. You just see someone walking away. You see Toby
That is
walking
true.
away. But I think the timing of the inspects alone, honestly, even without the purloin coming off, even without the swap, I mean, you can't be confident a bug hasn't happened at any point. I've played games against Turnipboy where that's enough sometimes, and I think that would have been the case here. I think hunu did a lot of good things that game, but as you mentioned, just didn't seem confident about how they wanted to finish.
And now it's Turnipboy, who's been holding it down from the sniper side, trying to see if he can break hunu from the spy end of things. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Turnip guaranteed at least a split on their opponent's doubled venue. Not a big surprise. Library, one of their better venues, although, as Kletos alluded to earlier, they don't really have that many bad ones. But now it's official. It's going to be a split at worst for Turnipboy and a chance to pull ahead right here. And you cannot give Turnipboy a lot of margin, as we've seen so far in Silver.
Early flirt out of the line of fire. Only a white test, though, for 34%, and immediately gets in conversation with the double agent. This is pretty early for a contact. Usually you don't want to give up that kind of information early, but with the amount of walking we see going on right now, actually now people are starting to settle, so we may actually see this happen.
Yeah, it's actually looking pretty decent here. I think I
Look
would
at the
consider taking it.
SDAs, though. Look at the SDAs,
Oh,
though. Here's
horrible luck.
and
Horrible.
both of the SDAs are out of conversation.
Oh, I think Walt Pencil Sash rather was in there with Sorry and Wheels, but that's only 2 people. That is really, really rough. That is really rough. And hunu, you could tell from the sniper side, is doing the right thing. They weren't prioritizing a bunch of lowlights or anything. It looked like they were focusing specifically on where those yellow arrows are. They're trying to think who has a reel, because that is the more profitable thing to focus on when that many people could not.
Definitely fiddling with the lights. Wanted a flirt there, but wasn't able to get it, so out to the statue we go. It is side statue, so this could very easily set up for a inspect swap later on in the game, but more importantly, gets us a print.
Yeah, and that's more than enough. Turnipboy likes him some prints, and there's really no advantage to even knowing he likes it because it's library, and that's just the cost of library. He's trying to track all those prints. Even if you think the spy's probably going to do it, boy, that's a lot to watch for.
Yeah, it's hard to track. The ambassador likes to put his hands on stuff on this venue. There's the next flirt coming off. It's not a very good one, though. Brings us up to 52%, so a close green is going to be necessary for the 3 flirt.
52 is not a number we see often on the flirt meter.
Oh god, no.
That's okay. Steady progress from Turnipboy. We got the bug and everything too, by the way, and you can already see how they're going to finish. This is the difference here. hunu had some good progress, but it wasn't clear what they were trying to plan to do or what they were looking for. On the other hand, look at Turnipboy's mission progress. 2 missions done, 3 now.
3 missions done now that the print has happened.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 missions done and 3 partial progress. So you already know. They've already shown us how they're going to complete. The only question is what order.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a good game from Turnipboy so far. That bug, the fact that that was able to come off along with the fingerprints is absolutely huge. Now, we just have to see how suspicious hunu is of this contact, because he was definitely fiddling with the lights earlier. We're back in the yellow bookcase for the flirt here. Not able to get this one off, and you can tell Turnipboy isn't happy about it. This has been a very good spy game from Turnipboy, but it just hasn't come together at the end quite yet. hunu still has a shot at this, but it's gonna be a long one.
I still think that was the right choice. I've played some casual games with Turnipboy and occasionally noticed the flirt before the book pickup, and I often get him on it, and we joke about it sometimes. And I think he was doing the smart thing there and saying, no, I'm going to wait. It's usually plenty of time, and it usually is, but of course, so he does the right thing, and it burns him.
It's a white test on the flirt, though, so it's 86% after 3. 1 more will finish it up, unless it's literally the worst flirt possible, but this is not literally the worst flirt possible, so this should get the flirt done. 45 seconds left to play, and all we need is that 1 statue visit. No! It's going to be the purloin! Why is it going to be the purloin?
Whoa, I
He
think
took
it went
it
a slow
straight
mistake.
up,
It
and
did.
I think Turnipboy just threw that game away.
So I thought something was a little amiss when the ST left, right, after the white test. So we knew there was going to be one more flirt done. We chased immediately. That's fine. But I thought to myself, why don't we go to statues now with a minute left and then flirt afterwards, right? Are we thinking we can't finish inspects? That's a pretty interesting assumption if so. But I thought there was going to be an inspect followed by a flirt because it wasn't even that late in the game. But that is pretty much the decision that was going to make or break it, right? Do I inspect and then flirt, or do I flirt and do something else? The decision was flirt and purloin, and hunu catches it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, but I think Turnipboy thought he was a lot more of a suspect than he really was.
Yeah, maybe. We'll never really know, though. It's hard to say after the fact, but that was clearly the logic, is that inspects were too dangerous, even though it seemed like the safer play. An early inspect obviously was just for the fingerprint instead.
All right, well, it's tied at 2 going into the gallery as Hunu on the spy side, Turnipboy on the sniper. Let's see if Hunu can find a way to break through in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
One of the bigger questions, other than do you bug or purloin on gallery for a lot of people, is do you bother to finish inspects or not? Or do you go for a fingerprint, a second hardtail, something like that? For Hunu, it's generally a second hardtail. Inspect's pretty low. And that goes back to that inspect highlights as a crutch thing that I mentioned. When you can deny the sniper the ability to be able to shoot highlights with impunity at the end of these games, it frees you up quite a bit more to get away with stuff.
Relatively slow start from Hunu here. Hasn't been able to get anything done in the opening seconds of the game. Now is chasing seduction target all the way out from the back conversation to the front one for this first flirt. Luckily, we're a reasonably fast character. Unluckily, the seduction target bails.
Yeah, that's rough. When you walk all the way out there, you come all that way, and she says, nope, back inside.
She wasn't out there for very long either.
No.
That's very unlucky.
If that happens even once or twice, your entire gallery game plan needs to change. You cannot afford many bails like that on gallery.
Hunu seems a little bit lost right now, all the way back in. And absolutely no progress yet. Seduction target in the back of the back conversation right now. Probably going to go for the briefcase indeed. Picks up the first print as the first mission progress at 2:30 left to play. This is not looking good for Hunu time-wise. That said, we're back in conversation with the seduction target, in with the double agent as well. Can he hit the green? He does hit the green, so he's still on for the 2 flirt.
That will help a lot with the earlier bail, for sure.
Assuming he can hit the second green. Seduction target steps away again.
If they hang out at a painting pad, it's not too bad. But if they go all the way out front again, that's rough.
No, they go to a statue, which is also not great, but they won't be there for too long. Minute and 35 on the clock right now as we pull out the green book into the back of the conversation here. Pretty good positioning to get cover behind as many people as possible, but still somewhat exposed. Minute and 20 left on the clock, still in conversation with the double agent. Seduction target doesn't quite come back to us. There's the contact coming off. Lets off quite a few lowlights, though.
Pretty standard for gallery, though. It's really hard to get a good gallery banana bread without giving up like 4 or 5 sometimes. In this case,
Back
you had 2
into
full
green
conversations.
He goes, and it's disaster. The seduction target steps away with the book, and Hunu is left with a book he wanted to put in the blue case at the green shelf with nothing to show for it. This has been a disaster for Hunu from start to finish.
And speaking of finish, you can't hope to finish at this point. You're either going to time out immediately, or you need to frame someone for a swap, get a purloin going something, and just bank on that. If you're still trying to finish this flirt,
she bangs again.
I don't think it even matters. Look at this. We weren't going to be next to them. we weren't going to be next to them, and we were going to have 30 seconds to do 2 more missions. I don't think that even matters at this point. I think it was an error even trying.
It's just insulting at this point. A beautiful bug on the way through, but there's nothing left to play for. Here's the purloin, but it's not even with 10 seconds remaining. The shot comes off anyways. Turnipboy still manages to be on top of it. What a game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's rough, but there was a certain point where you had to give up on the flirt. And I'm pretty sure that point was when they went outside that second time. I think that was it. You just didn't have enough time left on the clock. You didn't have enough ways to finish. And you didn't go stand next to them anyway. So what was going to happen if you hit it? I think at minimum, you need to walk out there and time ad first, see what happens then. But I will say, pretty good attempt at the salvage with that bug.
Yeah, almost, got the bug on the way back, almost got bailed out with the fingerprint with the purloin into the fingerprint, but Turnipboy was on top of things, and now is ahead and on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Turnipboy, not as annoyed with inspects as some spies on gallery, is perfectly happy to take that highlight and just try to win, but has a really good mission spread, will lean into the late swap, the kind of 50-50 choices. Does it actually even more than bug and fingerprint on gallery?
And Turnipboy barely manages to get that first flirt off before the seduction target bails on him. Into statues we go. This is going to be a first inspect, but probably not a second. No, he is going to hang out long enough to make sure he gets that second inspect before the statue goes down.
Well, you're going to get 2 visits anyway, probably. So no problem there. Whether you get 1 or 2 in the first visit doesn't matter too much. Just a little more or less time in the countdown at the end, perhaps.
Luckily, the seduction target decides to stay outside after going to the windows, so Turnipboy is able to get the flirt he wanted from that up to 78%. Very much in range for the 3 flirt. He's making decent time here.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. Good progress from Turnipboy. That's the kind of thing you normally see, and it helps, yeah, when the seduction target is not actively sabotaging you.
In conversation with the double agent now, but look at all of the movement. The front conversation completely empty.
And yeah, we just don't want to take this contact is the problem. We should do it. The seduction target is over at statues. We have to wait for them. We can't bug. It's not a good time to purloin. All we can really do is contacts, but it's a bad time for that too, so we're just standing here.
Might be worth going to bookcase and pulling a book out just to have it. Ambassador's not really putting his hands on anything either, so that's a non-starter. Minute and 45 left to play. Conversations are starting to fill up, though, so the time Turnipboy has spent here might be about to pay off. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to Turnipboy, suspected double agent is not one of the people in the front conversation. Hello, Mr. Ambassador. This is dangerous, yeah. Turnipboy wisely decides not to take that.
We have no missions completed with a minute left. That's pretty dangerous, too.
Here comes the contact. Suspected double agent nowhere to be seen.
And the end of red.
That's a pretty good contact if who doesn't notice the lack of suspected double agent out front.
We did knock out the other twin, completing inspects and another highlight at least 2, but we did not take everyone possible. Salmon's a possible lowlight who did not get caught. So no, it's not bad. And you can see Turnipboy again prioritizing the banana bread, making sure it's good. Question is, if they're not going to finish, is it going to matter? Are we really going to shoot Civ here?
Well, the flirt's done. I think it's going to be the inspect swap. I think that's what the plan is. There's the inspect. There's the swap.
Yep, just like I mentioned.
He holds it low. It's not easily seen. If he puts this down and stands there for a few seconds, he's not going to have time. Turnipboy makes it happen. with a beautiful setup at the end. I thought he had blown too much time in that back conversation, but it turns out beautifully.
I mentioned the propensity for swap, and you saw it right there. But you have to say, Turnipboy gets a couple of assists. The seduction target much friendlier than in the previous game. And yes, not holding the statue up above their heads, holding it just to the side a little bit. Hunu not quite selling out on it, more interested in pencil stash across the way, not really trying really hard to get any look at any of the pixels of that statue. That makes it that much easier. And Turnipboy just straight up wins. Mission win on gallery, starting to pull away.
Turnipboy has officially broken serve. It's been all sniper wins until just now. 4-2 is the current scoreline as Hunu needs to find a way to answer back from the spy side somewhere. Starting on gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And you can lose this, but you absolutely have to win the next game, and then you've got to make up ground against someone who hasn't lost a match yet on venues like, I don't know, Courtyard and Ballroom. Not exactly super spy favorite venues.
Ballroom could be. There's a lot of opportunity for shenaniganry on that venue. In conversation, way in the back goes Hunu, in conversation with the double agent as well as the seduction target, though not in a great position. The white test flirt is only going to lead to 27%. This is a very full conversation. Good grief. Hunu and the double agent step away at more or less the same moment. I suspect he's just going to head back in again for the flirt. And indeed, that's exactly what's going to happen.
I think that's probably fine in the early seconds of gallery. Not too bad, especially because you're not sidled up right next to them on either one. Oh boy.
Yeah, had a great opening for it and decided to take it, but the seduction target doesn't hang around. The double agent, in fact, slips into her spot.
I mean, it's something, but Hunu's thinking, really? Again, with the seduction target stuff? Like, what do I need? Breath mints? Like, they just will not stay near me.
It is very true. And
First
now the
spy game
double
lost to
agent steps
halitosis.
away as well. Under 2.5 minutes now. Party still not being particularly kind to Hunu. Oh, I don't know if we're going to make it to this window in time. Luckily, she's reading a book, so we do have a moment, but accidentally takes the time ad instead of the flirt.
Well, maybe just not standing close enough and clicked immediately when they got there because they knew they had to rush. But if you get away with it, that might be better if you get away with it.
It's a bit of extra time on the clock, to be sure. Now into statues we go. That's a green swap. Oh,
wow.
This is a very interesting maneuver.
And it's front-facing, too, so you're not even, like, leaning into the 50-50. What you're really hoping is they just don't look.
Yeah, that's the play. Trying to just get Turnipboy to look at something else and blocking it from the other statue! Oh, the play is coming out of Hunu right now. This is brilliant.
And is it on screen? Blocked by the pillar and the turban. Blocked by the pillar and the turban. It's going to be Salmon or Seek. Turnipboy has to have this narrowed down. Which tall gentleman is it?
For a moment there, the shot comes off.
It works.
Hunu, are you kidding me?
Wow. Wow. Now, Turnipboy still could have protected that if they really wanted to. The same way Hunu still could have protected the swap in the previous game potentially. But geez. Wow.
Oh my god, what a move. Are you kidding me?
That's the kind of thing Hunu should have done last game. When they realized they weren't going to finish flirt, you do some high-risk maneuver like that, especially against a good sniper, right? Because any coin flip is a win against a good sniper because their win rate on almost any of the venue like this, not balcony, right? Not high-rise on a 3-5, it's going to be above 50%. So you might as well lean into those sometimes, especially when you can't finish the flirt. In this case, Hunu does it a lot sooner and should have done it a lot sooner and pulls serve right back.
What a game to answer back, not giving Turnipboy even a moment of momentum.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's the question. Something I was thinking about. I'll point out something I was thinking about, and I think something mentioned in the chat is that because if Seek was the green swapper and he was at that statue pad, maybe there's a chance that Turnipboy thought that the statue wouldn't swap if that was a green swap.
Yeah,
Because,
so
you
for
know,
those who don't know, if you hang around after a green swap, an AI will not come over and swap it for you right away. You have to be kind of out of range first. So I wonder if it might be as little as standing at the front or the back of that adjacent pad even.
Either way, Turnipboy suddenly finds himself without that lead he worked so hard for. How quickly things can slip away as Turnipboy back on the spy side once again. And Hunu with a chance to tie this right back up in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think that's 5 sniper wins to start and then 2 spy wins in a row. Is that right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I believe it is.
Turnipboy's hoping it's 3 now. Try to steal that momentum, steal that serve right back.
Early flirt at the back conversation is an immediate 51%, which is a way better start to the flirt than anyone else has had.
Yeah, there hasn't been too much of that. Turnipboy had one of them earlier, as I recall, but for the most part, it hasn't happened. And we've also seen a propensity from both players not to hang around and try to timer flirt very often, not to try to two-flirt. Gallery might be a little different, though, but let's see if Turnipboy wants to stick around, because Turnipboy does like to make steady progress.
I think Turnipboy might be, because this is an opportunity you do not get very often on this venue. You got that first flirt so quickly. You have a little bit of time.
Yep, there's no
Does
prince. Yep.
the two flirt too, so that's huge.
It made sense. It's Gallery. The ambassador's out front. They haven't put any prints down anywhere. It's not a good time to purloin. It made a lot of sense to go for the timer flirt there, and hitting the AT means it absolutely pays off, and now you can really plan your missions with almost 3 minutes left on the clock, and in some ways the hardest mission already done.
Did General actually put a print on green just now, or did he just leave?
I'm not sure. I know the AMBA put a book back, and there should be a print there, and now they've just taken a drink too. So there's at least a couple prints floating around, including the briefcase when they put it down.
Unfortunately, Turnipboy not in position to capitalize on any of them. Went all the way out front to pick up that contact. A good time for it too. The other conversation did have the SDA and a good number of people in it, but
wow,
that was still what, 7 low lights?
There were 7 possible, and they got all of them in addition to the one they already had. That's huge. And it's a pretty good trade still, though, because Turnipboy's actually made a fair bit of progress here, and there are still some significant highlights floating around. But that is not just giving up a fair bit. What really makes it a big deal is that Hunu didn't miss any of them.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to hit every single one of those lowlights is really impressive.
One of my favorite things to sniper on Gallery is when there's just that mash of people kind of walking down the end of Gallery, and you can just spam right-click for the lowlights, just the
We've
whole
got
time.
safety off on Ponytail. The shot comes off. What? I don't know why, but Hunu gives the game right back.
I mean, just idling and swaying next to the ambassador right before, that's all I can think of. He's just worried about the bug.
I was doing my best trying to figure out what the heck she did, and as far as I can tell, basically nothing.
Oh,
I don't know what the highlight was for. She was just hanging out in that conversation.
Oh.
And then just a highlight just got put on her for whatever reason. And it got briefly taken off, then it got put back. I mean,
wow.
And then she went down there, she went back inside.
I don't know. Just sway looking for the bug as far as I can tell. 5 sniper wins. So what would you predict would happen after that on a venue like Gallery with these 2 good snipers? Yeah, 3 spy wins in a row. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, Turnipboy does actually wind up coming out of that ahead. It didn't look like he was going to for a moment, but it does wind up happening.
I mean, usually when someone goes 3-1 on a venue, it's just they win their 2 sniper games and sneak a spy win by, right? Nope, not this time.
It's especially surprising given how the rest of this match had been shaping up until then, but into the courtyard we go, and we're going to have to see some shenanigans if we're going to get spy wins off here. That or just really, really good bugs, as Hunu has to answer back once again in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, that's rough for Hunu. You had a way to kind of knot this back up and go into these last couple of venues tied with the division leader, and instead you're still down.
34% on the first flirt. Hunu knows he's a slow character, doesn't want to hang around, steps away to the windows to at least speed up that flirtation cooldown a little bit. Second target then steps away though, so I think it's going to be the ambassador? Oh my, look at this position here. In a little bit tight, Turnipboy guarding the bug very well from his angle, but there's an interesting little attempt by Hunu.
Yeah, maybe. Could have been a fake into a bug. Could have just, hey, against a good sniper, you can conspicuously not bug and let them see you not bugging. And sometimes you lose a little heat for it, too.
Second flirt, bit of a distance, up to 57%. So, a close-ish green will finish that up, but a white test will not. Hasn't got the contact yet, hasn't been to statues yet. I'd say Hunu's a bit behind the clock here.
Yeah, a bit, certainly. But it doesn't take much. There are ways to frame. Ooh, are we just close enough to bug? Even though we're not right next to them? Even though we're facing sort of orthogonally to them? Oh,
I
boy.
think we're like a couple of pixels off. I don't think it's quite there. The contact is going to happen. Very bold contact. Being alone in there with the seduction, with the ambassador, sorry.
Ooh.
But now people start filtering in. If we can hit this green test on the flirt, that should be enough. Goes for a standing bug!
During the zoom!
In range! Got the bug! Got the flirt! One mission away, and it's gonna be statues!
There was a quarter second where that bug gets away clean, and that's when they did it. I cannot wait to see the replay on this after this game. The timing was dead on. It was the only time you get away with that.
And as soon as the ambassador comes back, Hunu gets all the way out of there.
Moment of truth.
Into statues we go. Usually this happens before the hardtail. This time it's after Turnipboy sees him. The highlight comes off. That means no shot coming. And Hunu answers back yet again.
4 spy wins in a row. There was such a tiny, tiny window to get that bug past Turnipboy, and somehow Hunu squeezes through it. Wow.
That was a thing of beauty.
Yep, I am going to watch this replay. Oh my goodness. Like, look at the zoom timing. It's right when we're zooming back out. And that is when those kinds of things are hard to say. I mentioned earlier that you are, when the sniper is still, it makes it that much more likely that they're looking for something like microfilm in particular, because it's much easier to notice microfilm when you're stationary. The same is true of things like bugs or the speed of a fade on the guest list when you're not zooming in or out. When you're zooming in or out, it is much, much harder. All that stuff, because literally everything is being magnified, demagnified, whatever. And things like sways and arm angles and all those things, you just lose them. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Usually the window is not big enough to matter, but unless you nail it just like that.
Okay, I have to say this right now. I think that bug was actually bad.
All right.
I think that was actually just not a good bug.
So you think it's more like so bad it's good who would do it? Like not being watched? Because clearly not seen.
You don't know the sniper zoomed in.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, you don't. Although I will say that sometimes, like, for example, let me take a look here. Did it coincide, for example, with the guest list going down? Something like that. You know, that's another thing you can do sometimes is when the guest list goes down, when people start to take, you do it then, and you assume a zoom, for example. But either way
it worked out. And now, once again, Turnipboy spying to keep the lead. The man just can't seem to get away with it. In courtyard we go in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
But yeah, no, it's less about what the spy's thinking. It's more about why does the sniper miss it, right? The sniper misses it because of that movement. I actually think, and I say this about myself too, I think zooms are a little overused for that reason. I think what you get from them is very often outweighed by what you lose, and they need to be used a little more sparingly. This is actually a mental note to myself to do less of them, for what it's worth.
51% off the first flirt at, I think, basically the maximum distance to get that number. And then immediately into the statues we go. Gets a highlight, but that's just a rote statue highlight. Nothing too big to worry about.
No, but here's the thing. 5 to 4 like this. If Hunu can pull this back,
Oh my god.
just ballroom. Just ballroom. Standing between you and breaking this up. And remember, it's not just there's an undefeated season to break up. You can win outright too. But they only need to get one more if they can pull this win in right here. One more to at least force a draw, which is still a pretty good outcome.
Absolutely.
Also breaks up that 12-0 I was talking about earlier.
Second flirt comes off. Up to 85% we go after the white test. Keeping a good eye on the rest of the party here, but Ambassador and Toby are very much on the same side. Hunu is keeping an eye on everything. I think Turnipboy just wants this timer flirt right now, which, I mean, fair enough. We already have the inspect. It's a pretty good time for the contact if we want it, but it might not be by the time we get there.
Banana bread.
I think that was an unintentional fake contact, but again, it was a really good time for it. So the fake comes off, no low lights. Now the flirt's done. This could actually wind up being incredible.
This is going to sound a little nuts to some people, but I think others are going to agree with it. I think sometimes if you see the conversations are really full, go ahead and BB whether it's fake or real.
I mean, that is one of the only things that I do in this game that other people don't, and it catches people off guard.
I think it can be good. I think it can really throw people off sometimes. You don't think in terms of good real, just think in terms of good time to BB, period.
There's the contact coming off. This one real, 2 low lights. Oh, safety off on Turnipboy.
I wonder if it's the same thing as that library game, just noticing the movement after these BBs. I'm not sure.
Oh, man. Under 30. He needs a hardtail. I don't think he's going to get away with it. I would be...
Just bug. Just bug.
No, that's... Dance. Dance. Wait.
Nope.
Nope.
Hunu is disciplined again. Hunu is, you know what? I don't need to shoot immediately. Wait a couple seconds. Line it up. Be safe. By the way, if you're trying to avoid dancing, not shooting immediately, not putting your laser over them, it reduces the likelihood that they'll dance because they're thinking, oh, I got away with it. No need to draw attention to my, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, that is true.
So there's a lot of reasons to do it. You don't have to shoot because they're not done yet. You have 10 seconds, and it reduces the likelihood that they're going to dance anyway. So Hunu just showing a lot of discipline as sniper. And now 5-all. 5-all. And Turnipboy needs to win both to keep the 12-0 dream alive.
Oh my god.
That's hard to do. I mean, the spy game is hard enough. You get the sniper game first, which is very plausible, of course, but it's still on a pretty good venue for spies. And then you have to win right afterwards anyway. There's just no more margin left.
All right. Hunu on the spy in the ballroom. 2 games left to play. Turnipboy needs both of them to keep his perfect season alive. Hunu. But, like, even then, each of these games are worth a point in the SEL standings.
Yeah, perfect season, first of all, and then undefeated right after that for both of them. Hunu, again, only has 3 wins, but also has 3 draws. So both of them are undefeated heading into this, too. So there's a lot at stake for both players.
Let's see how this shakes out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
2 big ballroom games, 2 undefeated players in silver. This will have major ramifications for the division down the stretch, and maybe for SEL history if Turnipboy wins or loses.
I am so glad this marble thing has become a meme.
It caught on immediately, didn't it?
It sure did. Into the
Fun to
blue
say.
bookcase we go, and into a flirt at the same time. Picking it up while we take the sip. That is how you get away with a flirt before a pickup.
If I somehow manage to win this season with the hand and all the craziness and all the drama, I just, and I know there's no statue, there's no trophy, but please, if there is, can we make it a giant marble? Like, it needs to happen.
So we've got that first flirt for 34%. We're in innocent conversation right now, so not much going on here. Back into conversation with the seduction target we go. A little bit of a distance here, so we kind of need a green, and we do indeed get the green. 74% is where it stands right now.
As far as I can tell, Turnipboy is spending an awful lot of time trying to guard the bug specifically.
Two minutes left to play. Bug is a very popular hardtail on this map in particular. Along with the Purloin, of course.
Yep, those are the two, almost always. You'll see others too, but they're almost always on, for most players, the fourth and fifth missions, respectively. And in this case, Hunu prefers Purloin to Bug a bit.
There's the last flirt coming off. He only needed a white at that point, even with the distance. So that is the flirt done, but no other progress, and only a minute and 20 to play.
Banana bread.
Fake contact coming off, but in with the suspected double agent.
And this is okay. This actually is a decent way to beat Turnipboy on paper, is to lay low for a really long time and try to rush something late when there's no narrative about you and you're not a suspect. But it's still hard to do well, and the party has to line up just so. And with every second that ticks off, it gets harder and harder.
Bug, there it is! He was zoomed in on the list!
The zoom
was
again!
Zoomed in on the list when the bug came off. Into center statues we go. We get highlight for it, but it's just a statue highlight.
Oh, are we still thinking about this?
Could do everything for Hunu.
Wait. Are we going to finish this in time with the inspects? Oh, that was close. We needed that green. We needed that green.
Was tight. Didn't hit a green on the first two, and if you miss all three of your green tests and you get 2 quick cycles,
Double
that
agent.
can spell disaster.
Double agent's not in. 20 seconds left. The double agent's out of conversation. They need to get in right now. We're going to have to chase them. They're still drinking at windows. Another sip.
It's going to be overtime. This could be disaster. Come on, double agent.
They might not get in.
No, I think he's going to statues. It has to be a
No.
purloin. It's a green purloin.
Oh, goodness. This is going to throw it, isn't it?
We
low
got
light
a reject.
It's pending, though, but a low light has rejected after us. We've got to be top suspect. Oh, no, cast member. Cast member's being offered now.
There it is. There's the shot. Oh, no. It's disaster for Hunu. He got everything he needed to get done, but couldn't get the double agent in conversation when he needed it.
Oh, my goodness. I'm checking here. I'm going back. The double agent was in conversation at 45 seconds, left while we were at statues, and never got back in. And if they had, you've got to imagine that's a win. SCL history
really
turning on the fickleness of that cowboy hatted DA right there. Wow.
And he spent very little of that game in conversation.
Yeah, very little. Boy, that is rough. That is really rough. Look, I'm just going to say it. If you're going to break records, if you're going to go perfect at a high level, it's not enough to be good. You got to be lucky and good. It's just not enough. Otherwise you have to be so dominating that luck doesn't even matter, and that is very hard. You're going to need a little help, and I think we might have gotten it there if Turnipboy can convert this spy win.
And that's still a big if. It's not over yet. Can Turnipboy keep the streak alive? Can Turnipboy collect the other marble? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And not just this. It's not just the marble at stake. It's, it's all the could have beens, all the what ifs. And you have now, after all that luck, all those luck issues, certainly in that gallery game with the ST, but really most notably in this ballroom game, now Hunu has to calm down and snipe and try not to tilt to secure a point here.
And Sniper is such a mental game.
Yes. Yeah, you need to be confident's not really the right word for it, but you can't be jittery. You can't play nervous. There needs to be a little bit of, they're not going to get something by me. You need to be able to feel that to some degree.
Turnipboy picks up the first flirt for 34% and is hanging out in conversation after the fact, so probably waiting for the timer flirt. No, steps away afterwards. He's done that to me so many times. Into statues we go. Center statues at that, so picking up his inspect, picking up his highlight. Bug on the way out? No. It was being watched very closely by Hunu, but it would have been tempting either way. Second flirt comes off in conversation. That's a green test up to 84% now.
Well, the inspect's done early. That changes.
Look at the bug behind.
Oh, the back-to-back? This would be brutal.
That back-to-back bug is so hard to guard because you just don't expect it to be possible.
Yep, you just don't protect it. But Hunu seemed on it. They seemed to at least be partially protecting it, but it's still just so hard. It's still so hard to catch. And Turnipboy decides not to take it. And looking at the state of the party, I think that might be a pretty good move. There's no lowlights. We're one of 3 highlights. It's pretty active so far. Gonna want to get that good banana bread again, which Turnipboy has been prioritizing all match.
Turnipboy playing this really slow, really careful. The problem is there's only 1:15 to play. The safety's off! The shot comes off! And Turnipboy goes perfect through 10 weeks.
Oh, wow. Wow. Technically, 7-0 with a checker match still forthcoming. As far as I can tell, maybe Buns completed Prince there near the end. Maybe just a little jittery. It's very understandable given how some of those other games went. But Turnipboy survives a wild, wild set that started off as a standard good player set. 5 sniper wins in a row, followed by 4 spy wins. And it ends on another spy win, too. And Turnipboy escapes by the skin of his teeth. The narrowest of margins, 7-5. Still perfect.
And there were so many moments that could have turned the tables there, but
yeah, if you're Hunu, you have to actually be pretty happy with how you played here. Obviously, a couple shots there that were just a little too aggressive. Alice and Buns there, where it's not really obvious what it was for. But I will say that when they played well, they played really well, and the luck thwarted them a little bit there, too. Turnipboy, though, extended games, made good decisions for the most part, and that's the thing, right? You can't give players like Turnipboy extra chances.
Well played by all. God damn.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just checking the replays here. It looks like Boots
Prince,
did
yeah.
a pass by the ambassador that got a highlight.
Yeah,
So
and Prince and center statue. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's enough. But hey, there's still been no contact. That's a little, yeah, it's a little jumpy.
It's a little jumpy.
That's how it goes sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's an understandable kind of jumpiness too. Again, Turnipboy known for completing steady progress, so it fits. It fits Turnipboy's style of play too a little bit.
Yeah, despite the fact that they actually didn't have much steady progress this time. Somewhat
Yeah.
against type. Apparently it works when you have that project that image of being someone who finishes regularly and plays at a regular pace. To not do that sometimes, it just means you're giving them more chances to shoot AI.
Yeah, tough set, entertaining set though, to say the least. Through the first 5 games, I thought, well, okay, this will be close, tight, well played, a lot of sniper wins. Maybe someone sneaks out a spy win. Little did I know what awaited us was actually quite a bit of drama.